Is it 2024 or are we somehow transported back to 2012? Because it feels exactly like that, where 135 seems like at a slightly under par. Slightly under par.
At least in that final, you made 189.
Yeah, I'm not talking about the final. I'm talking about in general the vibes you get from Chepauk, where 140 would be a good total. It felt like that.
But because this also has been a Chepauk wicket that has gone past the reputation of a Chepauk wicket. Because even then you would look at an average total of somewhere in the 150s, 60s. Today it's much lower than that. Today you've seen a side find it hard to get to 140 also.
I'm saying in the last game that KKR played at Chepauk in 2023, that time they had scored 148. Here it is 11 short. So at 137 for 9, with Tushar Deshpande taking 3 for 33, Ravindra Jadeja broke the game open with 3 for 18, and that catch that he took of Shreyas Iyer, his 100th catch in IPL, means that Kolkata Knight Riders, their power-packed batting lineup has been restricted to 137 for 9. But this wicket, there is copious amount of turn, and as you mentioned, whether it's a 2012 or a 2013 kind of a wicket, it looks like it, but KKR do have the goods. Because you're basically going to have 4 spinners. Angrich Raghuvanshi with his left arm.
Would you not first want to credit your own spin bowling department?
I mean, see, Narain and Raghuvanshi were going great guns. And it needed something spectacular from Jadeja. Although the kind of shot that he played, I mean, he kind of...
I think they knew that the pitch would get tougher, so you had to take a risk. And the assessment wasn't entirely off because the pitch got tougher and tougher, stroke making, and especially with the older ball, it just became harder to clear. It gave me vibes, and again, all of y'all can relate because early to mid 2000s when you watch ODI cricket and then see the middle overs where the ball would get older, it would be harder to clear. That's what it felt like we were watching.
Yes, indeed. And because of that, look, now dew is setting in. There is dew at Chepauk.
Is that?
Yes.
It was shown earlier.
They were showing the camera on the wheels, the wheels were
wet.
They were very wet.
So imagine you don't want to be bowling second here at Chepauk now.
Of course not.
Because see, the kind of shot that Angrich Raghuvanshi played, I mean, yes, you have to have a high assessment risk if you look at. High risk is there because it was getting difficult. But he was doing well even without taking high risk shots.
I think he took Jadeja too lightly.
Yeah.
He was in the zone of hitting every ball. So the very first ball of a spell, of Jadeja's spell, he tried a switch hit.
I'm not actually surprised because the previous match as well where he got to his 50, I think, which went unnoticed obviously.
At a 200 strike rate.
Because of course there were bigger fireworks coming in from those around him. Even then I think, he came across as that batter who's not afraid of taking risk. Because I remember him going for a reverse paddle last match as well. Think he executed very well. Today though, again trying the reverse
but there was a difference. There was a difference. That Vizag wicket was a belter. This was sluggish.
No, but I'm saying the logic would have been try and get early runs because later on it was going to get hard. I don't really have as much of a problem with his shot as I do with the batting. And see, this is what happens. It's the flip side of having a batting full of hitters.
Yeah.
That's not to say that none of these guys knew how to play it. I think people will criticize Shreyas Iyer, no doubt, but his knock was exactly what you needed on this pitch. You needed an attritional knock. You needed someone to bat through.
And you saw also, if there was short of a length, he just couldn't time it because it was so sluggish, the wicket. And see, Shreyas Iyer's knock, there'll be detractors also for that because they said, okay.
He's a lightning rod, let's be fair.
Because he plays spin well. But today, he did struggle against spin. But I can argue for that one point, you are getting fast spin. I mean, look at that one delivery from Thikshana. Pitching on middle and leg, spinning away wide outside off.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. People will always say, and I heard people even upstairs say, at least get back to it. And I'm like, it's not that simple. If you're coming into T20 cricket, the mindset will be that you have to play attacking shots. This isn't test cricket where you're going to do, and of course the failure of the batters aside from a Shreyas was that none of them really adapted. Venkatesh Iyer was going for slog, ended up holing out. Ramandeep also went for one too many risky shots, ended up getting out. Rinku went for a risky shot, out. He could have batted longer. Yeah. Russell is the only one I'll not criticize because he came in at the death.
I won't say the same for Rinku though, but the others I think you named Venkatesh Iyer and
Ramandeep.
I think they of course didn't apply themselves better. they could have, given the fact that both hadn't played a lot. Look at Venkatesh Iyer, played just 8 balls, and you look at Ramandeep as well, 12. Rinku though had passed that threshold. See, he reached 14 balls and then he had to go. Then he was under pressure.
Correct.
So he knew he needed a release shot, and that's where he lost his wicket, chopped on. With the other two, I think they were in a sense of hurry. It's their desperation that got the better of them.
Correct.
They should have given themselves another couple of balls, respect the conditions. With Venkatesh Iyer and Ramandeep Singh, I think they were found guilty of not respecting the conditions enough. And I agree that you needed somebody, one more batter, let's say, that had batted with Shreyas Iyer and operated at a strike rate of about 100, 130, anything in that range. I don't think it would have caught the amount of scrutiny that it usually does otherwise in this format.
You're talking about the same batting lineup that got around 272 to the last game. 272. So every batter that came in after Narain and Salt, they were trying to accelerate the innings. They were trying to hit shots, and they lost too many wickets in between when Shreyas was there. They lost Raghuvanshi and Narain the same over to Jadeja. Shreyas was still on the other end. Then you sent in a Venkatesh Iyer. He tried. He got out. Ramandeep Singh was taking, as Shane said, he was taking too many risks, unnecessary too many risks he was taking.
The 1-6 he got also, remember, he backed away from his stumps so much, I'm thinking, please don't hit the stumps, and that's how he got bowled.
True. That one ball I was telling you about, he late cut Jadeja and he was about to hit his leg.
It was an arm ball, came back inside.
It's funny how when I saw that Sunil Narain dismissal again, and the camera, kept on panning to Chandrakant Pandit, because you don't expect a senior pro to then be throwing away his wicket, knowing that a wicket had already fallen, and that will irk anyone. But it's these instances that actually, given the volatility and let's say the surprise element that you have about Sunil Narain, he reminds me of a Balotelli time and time again, because a Balotelli will also do something like this. You don't expect him to.
He kind of also has the same hairstyle if you look at it.
And he'll also do maverick stuff.
But again, the other thing, and I'll give this one to Narain here for the simple reason: one, he had already gotten a start. B, he was nursing a shoulder injury, so he was always living on borrowed time.
Do we know if he's going to be available?
He would bowl because they didn't sub him
twice I saw him, clutch his, the area around his.
But they didn't sub him out.
Left shoulder.
More so around the torso, I think. The
also,
chest.
he got some treatment in between. In the strategic timeout, there was a physio pressing his shoulder, and he was trying to, But that's Sunil Narain for you. Either he will score a smash.
That's what you have to take.
Yeah.
Today, you cannot expect him to play sensible cricket when they've lost, let's say, 3 wickets or 4 wickets.
You have to be ready. You live by the sword, you die by
That's what you get with the Sunil Narain.
You do.
And that's the role he's been given. He himself said it. He's saying, I've been empowered to just go out there and hit. If it works, great. If it doesn't, no problem. You can pack your batting. But today, the problem wasn't packing the batting.
To me.
Yeah, it wasn't about packing the batting. The fact is that today it was a sluggish pitch. And I think CSK were very clever in the sense that I think I'm pretty sure they would have had some idea of what pitch was coming. That you switched out to a pitch that was very, very spin friendly. Already, as I was talking today, you saw Rachin bowl.
This isn't a huge
brave
pitch,
call in front of KKR, which is a par packed with spinners.
That is the part I was coming to, Saransh. That it is a brave call to take when you know there's a Suyash Sharma waiting on the bench, and if not Suyash, see what they did. They subbed in Anukul, so there is spinners there. I mean, if people forget about it, but even someone like a Shreyas Iyer can roll his arm over if need be. There's on this kind
there
of
is Angrish Raghuvanshi, slow left.
There's Angrish also, so there is plenty of spinners.
4 spinners you have basically in that sense.
So it's a very, very spin friendly, let's say, lineup.
But would you then have taken Suyash and not Anukul, or you're okay?
I was okay with it because the batting you did need one more
needed
batter.
runs, I think,
and also so far what I've seen on this pitch, it's the finger spinners who are being more effective. You know why? Because it seems like that sort of a pitch. It is a Jadeja pitch. Pheko and then let the pitch
There
do
is
the rest.
enough grip. There is enough grip for a finger spinner to be doing well.
Correct. That's why I'm okay with Anukul.
Can we see Sunil Narain with the new ball?
You could. You actually could.
The new ball is
You
talking
could.
about this, all the demons that has been there in this pitch.
But traditionally, if you look at it, Sunil Narain has not bowled that well in the power play. He's a kind of middle overs guy who can drive.
No, he's been used in the power play on occasions on spin friendly tracks. I remember him being used that way
in KKR in 2017.
Eden, and that's what I'm saying. You could try an over. It's worth a risk. I mean, look, you don't really have that many runs to play with anyway. You have to think out of the box. And again, if you're talking about out of the box thinking, you have a Gambhir in the dugout, a man who, lest we forget, on a spinning track in Eden, defended 132 against RCB by getting them 49 all out.
Yes.
Am I saying CSK will do the same thing? No. I'm just saying that he's not going to die trying. He's not going to die wondering.
Yeah.
There's going to
He'll
be
die
every
trying.
there will be every attempt possible. You may very well see umbrella fields once again if they can get early wickets, because that's what you have to do. There is an advantage for bowlers here. And look, you can moan and cry about it, but personally, I actually like that you're getting a couple of matches like this, because it's good. Otherwise, the run fest were getting a little out of hand.
Yeah.
You want to see testing the players even in a format as, let's say, high risk as T20s. I say be able to play on
So
a pitch like this.
a reminder for the middle order batters as well, because that you won't be getting Vizag conditions every time, everywhere.
Anyway, see, those were the last few games in Vizag. You're not going to
Yeah,
play.
that's it. It's your
Yeah,
turn
there
now.
were only 2
And-
games in Vizag.
And I think no more 90 of 6 over start, no more 85 of the top 6 over start for the middle order batsmen. They have to be very careful.
You will
have
get
it
it
two
in
places.
Eden Gardens.
Eden,
Also, Wankhede.
Wankhede,
And RC Chinnaswamy.
Chinnaswamy,
But
exactly.
you're already done with Chinnaswamy.
No, but then you will get
KKR
more
done with
games.
Chinnaswamy.
KKR games, yeah. In Wankhede, you will get.
Also, Chinnaswamy this season has been a little dodgy. Toothpaste. Very toothpaste.
Now, I will only
Well,
say that.
Who's to say that the color over there doesn't change now? Like the Chepauk wickets changed its color now. It's a different pitch
See,
altogether.
anyway, Bangalore is coping up with a different thing that is out of their hands. That's
Yeah,
why the nature
water
of the pitch
scarcity.
has
Yeah.
changed there. But then we'll dwell on it in the post-match. But then Russell will consider himself very unlucky, because you remember he was dropped by MS Dhoni
Oh, yeah.
off Mustafiz.
Yeah.
And he couldn't capitalize on that. And there are some serious concerns over Dhoni's keeping, because today he couldn't bend.
Not his keeping in general, but his fitness.
Yes.
If you're looking at it, there were a couple of occasions he was a little slow on the bend. I think that knee is giving him issues.
Yes.
Knee, ankle, whatever it
It
may
was
be.
taped very heavily.
Yeah.
And that is why I have a fear he may not play most of the games in the He will miss 1 or 2.
I remember this
was
was pointed
thinking
out by
the
Ravi
same,
Shastri as
not
well earlier in the tournament. That don't be surprised if you don't see Mahendra Singh Dhoni play
Yes.
all the matches.
Because today the catch that he dropped, he's taken even
That was a
greater
dolly
struggles,
catch. That was a dolly catch. It
We've
wasn't a
seen him
stunner.
put in a 1.27 meter dive. To
I mean,
his
the
right.
greatest catch by a 42-year-old.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was Vijay Shankar's dismissal
Yeah,
when he
it
dived
was
to
Vijay
his
Shankar's
right.
dismissal.
Yeah, it
And
was.
this wasn't, he didn't need to dive. It was, because it was a slower ball, it kind of lobbed up. He just needed to grab it with one hand and it deflected off
Just
his
felt like
fingers.
a slow reaction.
Yeah, 100%.
That is the thing.
But you know, being hardcore fans, you always want your players to play. You don't want your players to retire. But I think it's unfair on MS Dhoni now, expecting him to play the entire
I
season.
think you
with
need
it.
to.
yeah.
What Asad is saying, in fact, this is something we'll sort of touch upon at greater length towards the end of the match, whether Rinku Singh should have been sent out, because this is something that was mentioned on the comms and is getting traction on the internet as well. But very quickly, we'll go around the room, just see what the thoughts are, and maybe we can deliberate on it later. Siddharth, you think KKR heard over there?
No, I don't think so, because see, they stuck to the template. They had the best players of spin out there. Okay, so if you had promoted a Russell or a Rinku, you would have had much more pressure on the guys who are anyway going to bat out of their position. They stuck to their position, backing their strength. So batting them higher or lower, I think that's where they are batting. That's where they're comfortable with. And yet, point out, Jadeja does have Russell's number.
It's not just about Jadeja. I think you knew that it would be a spinner-friendly track of sorts, and Russell is best on good batting conditions. So you may as well save him for the death when there's nothing to lose. I didn't really have that much of a problem with the decision. Didn't.
Yeah.
Saransh?
No, I think no questions over the change in batting order. They have played like this in previous 3 games. Now, I know they have lost 3 quick wickets. They were 64 for 4, but I don't think they found any need to
Make that change.
change their
And I
batting
think
order.
it's a bit to do with the role as well. You're looking at Rinku to finish games off. Think around the 10th over mark, you'd already lost the 4th wicket. So have Rinku play 10 overs, I don't think it fits into the role that
But
he's
I
been
think
given.
at that time you would have expected a Rinku to play some sort of sensibly as well. You cannot expect Russell to play sensibly or defend a
Exactly.
few balls and at that time. They've
Fair
put Rinku.
See, but even Rinku tried playing calculated.
Yeah,
but he
he did.
struggled.
No, but the thing is, see, he got 9 of 14, which is fine enough to get your iron, then went for the big shot and got out. That's what he would have done potentially, even if he went higher up. It wouldn't have really made that much of a difference. So I don't really see any need
See,
for
but
that
then
debate.
there will be a debate on the Shreyas Iyer strike rate, but that will focus on the post-match. But then, guys, I think we are all sticking to our predictions. Oh, that's a good one from
And
start.
he started off with a cutter. Tells you everything you need to
Score
know.
predictions have gone to.
yeah.
Oh, they've gone to.
We were the low. I was the lowest at 185.
Gone to the dogs.
But
Yeah. So
Chain went with what, 208, 9?
he went to 209. He went to 209.
I went for 205 if I'm not mistaken. But oh yeah, that's
So yes,
I
that
still
is-
think KKR will pull it off.
they
off?
will.
Yeah.
It will be a tough
I have
chase.
my doubts now.
see. Heart says KKR, mind says CSK.
I have my doubts
Yeah.
now.
I anyway back
Priyanshu
CSK.
says KKR winning.
Yeah.
Priyanshu, a lot of people are actually seeing it that way, which is a little surprising. But hey, let's see.
It is not going to be an easy chase. And remember, KKR are 4 spinners. So that is why it will be tough at this point.
Yes, Piyush, we know you got your prediction very, very close, and we were talking about you even off camera as well. But anyhow, time for us to take a leave
also-
right now. We'll see you guys after the match gets over, and hopefully it's an interesting one from all of us here in the studio. Bye bye.